Okay, hi, this is Seku Radio, and today we have a great guest with us. His name is Dave Kozlowski. We call him the Cause, Dave the Cause. Dave, before I go into deep conversation with you, do you mind explaining to the crowd what the Cause stands for?
Well, my last name, as you know, is Kozlowski, and I was called Koz as a kid in high school, before high school, and in college. So it was a nickname. I didn't use it very much after college, but when we started doing the TV shows and when we went from regional to statewide with Fox Sports, and the affiliate was Sunshine Network, we needed to come up with something better than Inside Florida Tennis. So my director producer played with some things. Inside Tennis with Dave Kozlowski, no. Inside Tennis with Dave, no. Inside Tennis with Kozlowski, no. Inside Tennis with Koz, yeah, maybe. And then he said, no, it's Inside Tennis with the Koz. Now, one of the funniest things in life is when I was in a large group at the stage, and somebody said, what's Koz's first name? And somebody hollered out, the. The Koz they thought that was my full name. So it's brought a lot of fun into conversations because people will say, what's your name? I say, Koz. And they say, oh, cool, I can remember that. A lot better than Kozlowski. So that's how it got started, say too.
Okay. Dave, you and I go back, I would say, 30 years.
And we certainly do. And you coached my youngest daughter. Still ask about her every time you see me. So you're a very follow-up, conscientious coach. You never forget your students.
Yeah. Yeah. So 30 years of friendship. Today I would like to talk about how to run a tennis club. You were one of the leading director here at Laurel Oaks Golf and Country Club, tennis director for 11 years. Before we start the question part, let's do a history of the Cause.
All right.
When and where did the Cause started his tennis life?
You're asking when I started to play or when I started to be employed in work? I'm sorry. I missed
No,
that.
when you started from the beginning, let's start your early stage of tennis. When you were young, how you got into tennis.
Well, thank you. Not so many people want to know about that because it's not that exciting, but I had a lot of excitement in playing it. I played basketball all my life, and one summer, a good friend of mine who's a very popular guy at school. He played golf, he played tennis. He came from a family of opportunity, and he became a friend. He said, well, why don't you play some tennis? And we played for 3 months. It was in a public facility program, and it was 2 hours a day, and I played for 3 months, then put down the racket. And then when I was 15, I picked it back up for 3 months. And that was it. But then when I turned 16, I decided I like this game, and I think I have a stronger future in maybe college tennis instead of college basketball. So I didn't have a strong tennis background with family or where I grew up. It was a very nice little suburb, but back then, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, was not the hotbed of tennis. Pottstown is known for Mrs. Smith's pies. And Sekou, I'm not sure if you know that brand, but it was very popular in the Northeast. Some of your listeners may know of Mrs. Smith's pies. And back then, you polished your own shoes. And the other company was Kiwi Shoe Polish. So Mr. Smith buys Kiwi Shoe Polish, and the other claim to fame, uh, Potsdam, is the Hill School, a very nice prep school. And Donald Trump put it even more on the map by sending his son there. So that's where I grew up. And I didn't have a strong background in tennis, but I played the game because I had a passion for it. And every morning before going to school, starting at 8, I would go to the YMCA and hit against the backboard for an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half. And it was on a fast wooden basketball floor, so you learn to have shorter backswings. And the trick, as you know, as a coach, is how many times can you hit it consistently the same spot so it comes back to you. Where there is a wall, there is a way. And I know that you believe in a wall because there have been some great champions who have come out of it. Our friend, Monica Seles, would hit 2 hours on the wall while she was a slam champion, along with 2 hours on the court sparring. Never played a match in practice just against one opponent. She played against two Sekou, so she couldn't put the ball away. Her brother was a sparring partner. We were very fortunate. My son Davidson was her other sparring partner when everybody was in town, and they would play sets, one woman against two men. So in addition to hitting on the machine, hitting 2-on-1 sets, 2 hours on the ball machine, she also hit 2 hours against the wall. So at the highest level, the wall was used, and there have been players galore on the wall. We know the name Mark Dixon. I know you know Mark well.
Yes.
Who was at Final 8 at the U.S. Open.
Right.
His practice during the week was to hit against the wall for a few hours. Saturday, Sunday, his dad would take him to tournaments in Florida. He would play one age group, boys 12, to another age group, boys 14, singles, doubles, and maybe walk away playing 15, 16 matches a weekend, and then get back Monday morning or Monday after school. He's back on the wall. So that's a quick background of my playing. I liked the game better than I was competitive, but played at a good D2 school. We were 3 in the country with wins over D1s, Duke, North Carolina State, and a couple of Ivy Leagues also. So enough about my game, but boy, feels good to have somebody ask me about it. Thank you. Thank you, Sekou.
Yes. Dave, you mentioned it a very important point, talking about the wall. Lately, a lot of clubs have taken down the wall. What is your intake on that?
Well, I think that's too bad. I think there's some great benefits hitting on the ball machine, but there's a simple greater benefit out of the wall because you've got to find a rhythm. You've got to find a bit of accuracy. So the rhythm's brought out. The consistency is brought out. And great players of the past would say the wall was the greatest learning practice device for your passing shots because you want to keep the ball low, you aim closer to the net. But I think that there are many players that benefited by actually hitting higher, getting the depth from a higher ball. There was a husband-wife team. They shared the first name. It was the Jean, that's Jean, Jean, female, and Gene, Jean and Jean Hoxie. They had the Hoxie School of Tennis.
Right.
And they were one of the first indoor training programs, and they did it indoors in Hamtramck, Michigan, a less than high-income suburb. They had a 20-foot high ceiling in the basement with a 40-foot wide wall, and that's where the kids hit for 9 months out of the year. And they
Yeah.
produced some world champions. They had the Barklovitz girls. One was her name. I'll give you one name and see if you can give me the other. Say two. One was Peaches. Do you know what her sister's name was? Another piece of fruit, Plum. And they were winning national championships just by hitting against the wall. One went into the Guinness Book of Records, hitting 4 straight hours without missing the ball against the wall. That wall
Right.
is good.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So she won in the Guinness Book of Record for hitting for
Yeah.
4 hours straight.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
I don't know if even you could do that, but you probably would get close
You know,
to 4 hours.
there's the one person who used to do that too was Altair Gibson.
Oh, is that right?
Altair
Very
Gibson
nice.
played it against
Uh,
Wall a
uh,
lot. And, of course, Margaret Courts and Rod Lavers all have a story about the Wall.
well, those are good to share with everybody. I would
Yes.
think Althea did it because she wasn't in an opportune environment or didn't have those available where she had coaching and hitting sparring partners, so she found the wall. That's an incentive that many kids should get motivated from that.
Oh, now we're gonna move into how you how you how was your 11 year? How were you able to spend 11 years at Laurel Oaks? Can you share that with us, please?
Well, running a private club, running a private high-end club is very rewarding. You're judged on what you can bring to their life, how satisfying it is. I was very lucky. Many people again were very nice to me and very kind, and I ended up doing enough good things that it was worth keeping me around. But we all learn from mistakes. And, the biggest mistake I ever made in my life, and I would not do it again. The two owners, developers of the club, wanted to make it a high image club, and they were trying to model the etiquette, the taste, the food, and the service, and some of the rules of the club. And certainly one was the tennis attire, and they decided to go with all white. Well,
Yeah.
all white has existed, still exists in a number of private Philadelphia clubs, Boston clubs, Washington, D.C. clubs. It was kind of a very traditional northeast on grass, on clay, and all white. And we started with all white. In the beginning, we had a number of members who had been members of other clubs and were coming. But as the generations change and people are buying houses in nice communities and memberships, they're younger. So they did not grow up with the old rules of etiquette and tennis. Not so much etiquette. The etiquette was fine, but apparel. And then sooner or later, some people say, well, nobody these days tells you what to wear. We want to just have all colors. So it was voted in. We certainly appreciated that and changed that, but I probably wouldn't do that again. And I think other things that you have to realize is that the most important thing is to have somebody enjoy the time out there. And uh, it's very easy if you become a knowledgeable tennis coach. It's very easy to want to talk a lot. And all of a sudden, you find yourself wanting to impress with the student how much you know, and that's not important. It's how much the student is going to learn. And I have tried to take the role later, midway through, and